name's Jason Georgianna. I'm here at Art of War, MMA, and Fitness. When we get our over-under here, okay, if I'm going to pull Brian off balance, right, I could step over to the overhook side and hit my body lock, right? So that's what I showed you guys last time we did this. So now we're just going to pull on the underhook side, right? So we're just going to step and just get our nice tight body lock on the underhook side. Okay, the main thing is on these body locks, it's often a lot of work if I'm trying to just attack him straight on. So it's a lot easier usually to just get to a side. Okay, so that's why I was having you guys warm up as we pummel, right, getting him off balance and stepping to that 90-degree angle. And you can absolutely lift people from here. We're just going to do a really simple crunch down. And then we're going to go to side control. Okay, from there in a moment. So as I pulled him to this position, right, everything's tight. I'm just crunching my forearm down, using my head, using my knee. Once I feel that base break, I can just step around like this. Okay? And then depending on what he does, right? Like last week we looked at this situation where they keep this, right? Often we're going to begin to come around and attack Emiral. Okay? He's not always going to be that kind to you. Okay? So I'm expecting him to kind of flatten out. So sometimes we'll take this little collar right here. Okay, so that's the first part we're going to do. So we're going to look at like a back take from there. So we're going to be in our pummel. I'm pulling him. I've already got my right foot forward, so this is going to be a really short step for me. Stepping around, using my arms on his hips, using my legs, using my head, crunching him down, and then just stepping around. Okay, nice wide base, right? Obviously, we can also go to head and arm series, okay? But we're just going to stay, I just want you guys to be right here for the moment, okay? So one more time. Pummeling. Move Coach Brian. Making everything tight. I break his base. And it's not a hard takedown. You guys should be able to just set your partner down under control. When I start to feel him go, instead of ending up in half guard, I'm just stepping around. Right? I'm going to just lock this collarbone right here. Okay, so there's a reason for that, which we're going to talk about in a minute. If I were to have done the body lock on Brian's overhook side, which is what we did last time I showed you this, I would typically end up here with a nice underhook, right? When you do it on the underhook side, either depending, if he stays on his side, he's exposing his arm, right? So I'm going to then start to go around his arm. That's why I like to go like this, and I like to just pressure like that to clear that, So if I can get that arm cleared, now we're into our nice little gift wrap situation here. You won't always be able to do that, but it's a really nice thing, if they're not getting their elbow back where they should, right, and flattening out quickly, because that's the defensive position he wants to be in. But when you land initially, again, you're going to be under this deep underhook, so you're going to have a moment there where you can easily undo this, right, and I can just pressure and I can pass. Okay, again, sometimes I'll use this, like this heavy side control pressure to force it, and then I can take my hand back. Sometimes I can just leave this hand right there. Pressure, okay. Once we get this, now I'm just gonna take a big step over. The reason I like to take a big step over is because quite often from here, right, he's aware that I can mount. He's going like that, right? And one way to do it is I can punch this knee through like that, okay? But again, I also just like to just take a big step over. So if you're able to just put that foot up there, a lot of times you can just pop right into here into gift wrap. Right? From gift wrap, now we've got our easy back take. Okay, so I've basically got like a little 2-on-1 here on Brian. What I'm going to do when I do my back take is I'm going to have this hand. I'm going to actually use that hand on the hand. Okay, so I was kind of controlling his hand with this, right? I might have a Kimura grip. I might just have a 2-on-1 like so. Okay. When I do this back take, I'm just going to pass hand control to that hand. Okay, pass hand control. Right? And then we're right there. Okay, and our first option is just always going to be that triangle, right? We've been doing this pretty repeatedly. Okay? You may be able to just get it, but the thing that we've looked at a few times, right, is this idea of him fighting, pulling my thumb down. See how he's got my thumb? I'm not going to be able to force that, right? If he were to grab my forearm, then it's actually pretty easy for me to just climb that up there. Okay, so he's grabbing my thumb. We're letting him take it down. We're trapping, right? We just did this stuff recently. What's Brian's last line of defense now is moving his head here, okay? So this should be, those of you guys who were here last month, we were going over this should be like somewhat review. Because look, I have my head where I want. Now he's messing that up, so we're replace it. Use our sharp part of our hand there. Okay, and we're right here where we can do, either you can do your one arm choke like that, or once I've achieved this, right, I can just pass that off and go right back into there. Once I'm doing my finish, remember, I'm not pulling up like this, right? I'm always pinching my elbows down, and then I'm rotating backwards, right? It's just a little turn like that, right? And that way we're able to use these big muscles in your back. So you've landed from your body lock, and you guys are welcome to just start here like this. Okay, if his whizzer's tight, I'm going to go around to the Kimura. If it's loose like this, I'm just clearing it over, passing it, right? I can go like a Kimura style grip, or I could just go like a 2-on-1. Okay, I could even, if I feel like I need help pushing this down, I could just keep this with one hand. I could push it down like that, boom, right? And I can step up. Okay, this just gives you a little bit more control. The other option from here too is I can always just sit him up. Right, so this just gives me a lot of control. It just glues me to his back. Okay, take a big step over, suck it into his belly. And when I roll over, now my left hand is controlling his hand. Right, this is much better than just having the wrist. Right, now I'm either this or I'm body triangle, depending on what you prefer. Okay, he's gonna pull down the thumb. I'm gonna let him have it. We're gonna trap it. Now he's doing this defense. So I'm just taking it back away, and we're getting our super deep in. This hand should be all the way back on that trapezius, right? The hand that's choking him, you should be all the way back on this muscle here. Okay? So this is just kind of, choking people 101. You guys can never be too good at this stuff. My head's on the opposite side. I can plant it, and I can do it with one hand, or I can now trade this out and sneak it in behind like that, right? It's never like this because it's easy for him to grab it. So if you do want to use that second hand to add a little bit of choking power, I'm going to sneak it in behind like so, right? So that's always what you want to do when we're making this switch. It sneaks in behind so he can't ever have a chance to grab it. Okay, now my elbows are going down, and then I'm rotating backwards. Okay, so as you do this, right, when you guys are choking, it's not like that. It's just like that. So just think about getting those elbows down, rotating backwards. Right, let's just go over a couple of these details. So I've done I like right side underhook, so I've ended up over here. Remember, if my partner were to keep a death grip on this, I want to be able to do this move, right? Some of you, like your partners are death gripping. That's when I would start, right? I would start trading this move out for the Kimura that we did last week off the lockdown sweep. But if that hand pops out, right, if his left hand pops out of this gap here, that's where we start to be able to use that pressure. So just really think about being forceful with your shoulder. Okay, the other thing is people are getting confused about the hands, which is understandable. Initially, I'm grabbing this, right? I could do a one-arm gift wrap with just this hand, okay? If I want to do a 2-on-1, I could be there. If I want to do a Kimura grip, I'm right here, okay? All of those are fine. This just gives you a lot of control, okay? So when you do get to gift wrap, most of you guys are getting here, okay? This is where I'm going to transfer. Why, if I'm going to be choking Stefan here, when I go to do this, if I keep this hand on the wrist, right, it's very easy for him to just roll that hand out of there. So I was like this, right, or like this, I'm going to pass his hand to that hand because this hand has other work to do, right? This hand should be starting the choke. So when you guys roll your partner, when you guys get this position, so here's like our traditional gift wrap. Here would be a 2-on-1, this is fine. Here would be a Kimura grip 2-on-1, this is also excellent, right? Both of these really do a good job of gluing me to his back, right, no matter what he does. So once you guys make that transfer, now just remember, when I transfer, if let's say I have a 2-on-1, I really want to be getting this hand to controlling his hand like that, right? It's hard for him to get out of this with hand control. It's very easy for him to get out of this with wrist control, right? He just rolls out. Now, I'm going here, but as you recall, right, what is his job? His job is to defend that, right? He pulls the hand out of the way. Now, that's when I'm going to trap it, get the top of your foot on his spine there, right? Now, he does this defense, right? So you're actually working on your defense a little bit too. Now, I correct that, and then I go right back. Look at how deep my right hand is going to end up on his trapezius, right? What we don't want to have is this, right? That's not it's more of just like a throat crush, right? I want to be all the way here like this. And now if I want to do the one-arm choke, look, I just lock my forearm in place, right on top of my wrist. Right? Now I can do my choke. If I want to use my second hand, a lot of us are still kind of going like this, right? It's just not, it's going to be as powerful. So I have to really, if I do bring that second hand into play, when I take it out, I've already got this one super deep. Get this all the way to the trapezius. It just goes in like, I'm just sliding it in the back like that. I'm not doing that. I'm just sliding it in the back, and now my head is blocking it, right? So now it's going to be very difficult for him to get out of there. Okay. Now we're just dropping our shoulder and rotating.